Geometry Notes, Day 5. Apply the isosceles triangle conjecture and equilateral triangle conjecture. So go ahead and work on the warm-up. Classify each triangle by its angles and sides. Remember, we had 4 different ways we could classify the triangle by its angles and 3 different ways by the sides. So I'm going to let you work on that for a minute, and then I'll give you some hints. So go ahead and pause the video. All right, so naming a triangle by the sides, we can name it either an equilateral triangle, isosceles, or scalene. By the angles, equiangular, acute, right, or obtuse. So for number 9, since we have 2 sides equal, that would make it isosceles, and a right angle, right triangle. So we'd say isosceles, right triangle. Number 10, it's got an angle that's more than 90. And then the sides, it doesn't really tell us if any sides are equal. So if it doesn't specify that sides are equal, then it's a scalene triangle. And then again, since it had the one obtuse angle in there, it's obtuse. Scalene, obtuse. All right, next one, all sides equal, all angles are equal. So by the sides, equilateral. By the angles, equiangular. All right, go ahead and try the last 3, and then you can pause the video and check here in just a minute. All right, so number 12, scalene acute. Number 13, scalene right. Number 14, isosceles obtuse triangle. All right, we're going to look at the isosceles and equilateral triangles today. So on the isosceles triangle, isosceles has those 2 sides equal, and they're called the legs of the triangle. Okay, so the angles where the legs intersect, B up here, is called the vertex angle. What's the vertex angle? The sides opposite the vertex angle is called the base. So that side is the base. The legs are the left and the right side in this case. And then the angles along the base are called the base angles. So angle A and angle C would be the base angles. So A and C, your base would be AC. The vertex angle would be angle B. And then the legs are AB and BC. All right, the isosceles triangle theorem says that if 2 sides of a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite those sides are congruent. Okay, so in our case, since AB and BC are congruent, we can say angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. And then our picture, we can mark that those 2 angles are the same. I put 2 arc marks since I already used the 1 mark on angle B. All right, and then we can go and put that backwards. If 2 angles are congruent, so if we have angle 2 and 3 are congruent, then we know it must be an isosceles triangle. So what we could conclude is AB is congruent to BC. All right, so let's do some practice. Go ahead and turn it to page 20. Here we go. We're going to find the missing measures. So since we're given that it's an isosceles triangle and those 2 sides are equal, that means the angles across them are equal. So angle J, measure of angle J would be 68 degrees, the same as angle L. And then K is going to be the leftover. So what you can do is think, how much have we already used? We've used 68 plus 68. which is 136. So then what I need to do is take 180 minus 136 to see what angle K would be. And then we can get 44 degrees. Okay. Why don't you guys pause the video and go ahead and try 2 and 3. All right, for number 2, the measure of angle C, what we're going to do is take 180 minus 106, which is 74, and then divide that by 2. So then if we take 74, that's how much degree is for both angles. We have to take 74 divided by 2 to see what each angle is. So split that up evenly. So then the measure of angle C would be 37 degrees, and measure of angle E would be the same thing, 37 degrees. So that when you add up all the angles, 37 plus 106, you will get 180. All right, number 3, YZ is going to be the same because those base angles are both 77. So YZ is the same as XY, which is 12 centimeters. And then to find the measure of angle Y, we've used 77 and 77. So add those up. So you've used 154. Then subtract that from 180 to figure out that missing angle. Okay, so now, is that our answer, or do I have to split that in half? Ask yourself. This one, we do not have to split it in half because we only have one angle remaining. So you're going to say the measure of angle Y equals 26 degrees. Okay, really work on labeling if you can. All right, here we go. Number 4. For this one, we're given the base angles in terms of X. Well, since those sides are equal, the base angles should be equal as well. So we can say 5x plus 9 equals 8x minus 30. So now you're just trying to figure out what x is. So we can subtract that 5x to the other side. And then if you want to at the same time, you can add that 30 to the other side. So it's going to say 39 equals 3x. And then one more step to get x by itself, we can divide both sides by 3. So x is 13. Now technically this one you don't need degree or centimeters because the label is already on the answer, 8x minus 30. So if we plug 13 in, then we would get what the whole angle was. All right, for 6, we're given the two sides, and we know the base angles are equal. So the side across from those base angles that are equal are also equal. So we would set this one up about the same way. 5x plus 7 equals 23x minus 17. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and see if you can figure out what x is. All right, if we solve for x, we get x to be 3 to make this an isosceles triangle. All right, number 8, this one is saying to draw your own triangle and giving us some different measurements. So it says in triangle RST, RT is congruent to ST. So I know it's an isosceles triangle, and I know this side and this side are equal. Okay, then it's talking about, let's see, RT and ST. So we can go RT and then ST. So it's talking about angle R, angle S, and angle T. And what would the X and the measure of each angle be? All right, so R is going to be 9x plus 2. S, 13x minus 18. and then t 17x plus 1. Okay, so for a problem like this, again, I would draw the picture. Now this one you kind of have a couple different opportunities of how to do it. We could add all three angles up and set them equal to 180, or a shortcut, since we know it's isosceles, we could just put these base angles equal to each other. So we can go 9x plus 2 equals 13x minus 18. Okay, that would be the easier way. You could add them all up to be 180, but this one's going to be quicker. So now if we want to find x, subtract the 9 to the right side, add the 18 to the left side, and we get x to be 5. All right, and then the last step, we want to find what each of those angles are. So we can plug that back in if I want to find the measure of angle t. I'm going to plug that back in for 17x plus 1. Well, x was 5, so 17 times 5 would be 85 plus 1 equals 86. So that's the measure of angle t. Okay, if we go to find the other angle, angle r, the measure of angle r was 9x plus 2. And again, we already know what x is. X is 5. So 45 plus 2 would be 47. And then we know what s is as well, because s was the same as r. 47. So 45, 47, 47, and 86 degrees. You could also double check and make sure those last three angles equal 180 degrees. All right. Let's flip it to that last page, 21, for today's notes. All right, equilateral triangles. A triangle is equilateral if and only if it is equiangular. So that means if all three angles are equal, then the measure of all three sides needs to also be equal. So we can say AB and BC need to also equal AC. All three of them are equal. Likewise, if we know all the sides are equal, then all the angles have to be equal. And remember, if all the angles are equal, we talked about this the other day, then they must all be 60 degrees. Good. All right, so let's find the missing measure. So for 11, we know the angles are 60 and 60. So we find that third angle is 60. And then if I knew one side was 9, then they're all going to be 9. Okay, so the measure of angle C would be 60 degrees. Side BC would be 9 feet. Side AC is also 9 feet. All right, let's look at number 12 here. This one only has one measurement, that the side is 24, but because we know all sides are equal, we would know all sides are 24. And since it's equilateral, remember that it must be equiangular. So all three angles are equal. If they add up to 180, then we divide by 3. All angles are 60 degrees. So just remember, in an equilateral triangle, all angles are 60. So we can use that right away for that next example to figure out what x is before we get started. We can take 7x minus 3 and set it equal to 60, since all angles are 60 in an equilateral triangle. So 7x equals 63. Divide by 7 would be 9. For the sides, you can set any of the two sides equal. So I picked 9y plus 1 and 11y minus 23. And then if you solve that, you end up getting y to equal 12. All right, for your assignment, it is a Canvas quiz today. So you can go on Canvas and you can redo it up to 3 times. So make sure you complete that now and before class tomorrow. Thanks. Have a great day.